Okay, episode 1 of chatting shit about the Labyrinth Cup. I was going to call it the Minotaur Cup. I don't know why. The Labyrinth Cup. I'm really excited to be back and really happy to be joined by Phil, Cal, and Dan. How is everyone?
Yeah, very well.
Good, mate. Good. Thanks for having us.
Good. I'm looking forward to getting stuck in here. In a cup where a lot of things seem viable to me. I mean, you guys have just done a practice, so you might say differently. We've got 3 picks tonight that haven't been discussed before, but we'll start with Phil, who's picked one we spoke a lot about fairly recently.
Yeah, Pokédex number 302. Sableye. It's a mon that I've recently acquired with decent IVs and a lucky trade. Recently, after XL Candy became available. However, my 12, 14, 14 does exactly the same as a Hundo would do.
Right.
So that's all I care about. What I will say is, if you do have the access to 9 or 18 XL candies, maybe it's worth a push. So yeah, fantastic as a switching. Just got to be careful what you lead to make sure you're not switching it to the wrong things. But yeah, I like it.
Yeah, fair. Dan, Cal, thoughts?
Is that so? You're running XL, just.
Mine is not fully XL yet.
Yet.
Mine is not fully grinded just yet. Mine is statistically the same as a maxed out level 40 Hundo. I wish I had more candies, but for now it does the same as a standard Hundo, level 40.
Yeah, and it's done the job so far, up to this point in time. Just because there's better, just because it could be better, doesn't diminish what it is, does it? So,
is it even possible to get an XL one yet?
Yeah, I played against one, and even though I had the energy lead, my opponent chose to take shield advantage rather than gaining switch. It was very interesting. I think he could have tanked one more foul play, and I couldn't. But yeah, there's other things. If you do have the XL, it picks up quite a few of Metamons. So yeah, very jealous.
So perhaps worth looking at the sims then on your Sableye, like your own Sableye. It's not probably not one of those ones you can reel off numbers of sims off, because, as you say, not everyone's got a Hundo, not everyone's got different amounts of XL candy. Everyone's going to be very different. So.
Just a quick one with what Callum said. So it's a return Sableye?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, got to be returned.
You want that big power gem hit then?
Yeah, because it's such a great move. No return.
I mean, we don't speak about it a lot, but I mean, Vigoroth is looks like it's going to be popular. So it's perhaps less important about Vigoroth. But for the other fighters, particularly Toxicroak, which I think we'll see a lot of, Shadow Sneak looks interesting, because as much as Toxicroak is fragile, it resists foul play. And if Toxie gets...
And you ain't going to get to return.
No, well...
You're not going to get to return.
No. But if Toxie gets one counter lead, it'll beat you in the 2s with Mud Bombs. So Shadow Sneak might flip that. So depending on what you're weak to or what you need to be on your team, I think there's some play for Shadow Sneak, but I would agree, generally speaking, you want return, don't you?
Yeah, I think Toxicroak in the Sims, it's winning the ones because of the bait.
Yeah.
But just doing a quick Matrix battle, you pick up on the XL, you pick up Dugong, you pick up obviously the Mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Stunfisk. Where else are we up to? Tropius.
Ooh,
and Vigoroth.
Vigoroth.
So yeah, the XL might be worth it. Now that's probably going off a level 45, like 0, 15, 15 or something silly. It probably won't be 0 attack, but looking into.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you a question here. I mean, I think Sableye is awesome. Always is. Always will be. But this is the first meta we've done chatting shit about where, because you're running Sableye, you then can't run something else. Now, Sableye.
I know who you're going to ask about.
Dark and Ghost.
Yes, and Ghost. Yes, which means no AWAC, and AWAC's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think there's other good Dark options as well. Do you think it's that good that it's worth having over
taking those two categories,
taking them off the board? Yeah.
They are good categories. They are very, very.
Yeah. Yeah. There's one we're going to speak about. That's a dark one. But yeah, in the Ghost category, I love Frostlass. I love AWAC, and of course the new edition Jellicent as well. So. Yeah, it's a tough pick. It's my first gut instinct was this plus another Mon. Actually, another couple of Mons. If you see my team from tonight, they're on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, what Phil's team was.
No, it's interesting.
we didn't face off.
We didn't face off, mate.
I didn't play in the tournament tonight, but I had a quick look at what everyone's teams were, and I messaged Phil very quickly afterwards saying we've got similar ideas here. I think. I hope.
I just think my fifth and sixth choice were just very lacking. So, but the top four, I think, are doing what I need them to do.
Was it the Flyer and the Bulk? Was your fifth and sixth?
The Flying Bulk was a cheap man's Tropius. And my other pick was Toxicroak, and I was asking a little bit too much of it, but I did face 2 Gliscors tonight.
Oh wow!
So I don't know. I think I'm just gonna take that with a pinch of salt. So
yeah, fair enough.
See, I tested Toxic tonight, and I wasn't. Yeah, I wanted to go a double fighter in this. I see play for double fighting in this because with the normals being so prevalent, as you've already brought up about Vigoroth being so prevalent, I thought a double fighter strat might work, but I don't know if Toxie's.
See, this is what I think is interesting about this cup. Normals are prevalent, right?
They can only take one.
You can only have one. Yeah. And there's no Basti, there's no G-Fisk. Shift 3, the dark types might be Shift 3. Ferrothorn, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And Vigoroth's amazing, but if you bring Vigoroth as your counter user, you can't have another one of those amazing normal types. So that's why I like Toxie. But I think it's got swings and roundabouts.
Toxie means no Venusaur though.
It does. Yeah, Toxie means no Venusaur.
There are other grasses out there though. And
there are.
I know he's the king of grasses, but how much he really... I don't see this being an overly grassy cup. Don't get me wrong, I think there's a place for grass types in here, but...
They don't jump out, do they?
Yeah. No.
Okay, well, before we go too off...
I was about to say, because I've got a snowman which beats that king of grass, but yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Sableye.
Yeah, well, unless anyone's got anything else to say, let's talk about some of these dark types. So
Sableye's great. We know it's great, but I don't think it's worth missing out on the other types that you're going to miss, the ghosts, and particularly the darks. So my pick is Pokédex number 630, which is Mandibuzz, which, if anyone's ever used Mandibuzz, they know it's a flying tank. And I like a flying tank, as I've discussed on chatting shit on other occasions. Mandibuzz is great. I mean, beat Sableye to start with, which is always nice. I know it's a little bit closer than you'd like, but it does do the job. Beats your AWACs again. So these are the ghosts that you think you're going to see, because AWAC is always a meta pick in every single Silph meta. drives me up the wall. I now have become this person who avoids using AWAC, as when I first started playing Silph, I loved using it, but now I'm like totally against it. Yeah, it does a really good job. Absolutely smashes Toxie, beats Diggersby when we were talking about the normal types. It's a nice mon to use, and it's very good on the Switch because you've got that flying coverage without being so weak. So my pick's Mandibuzz.
It feels to me a bit in the same vein as Vigoroth, where its bad matchups are never going to be awful, and that's quite nice, that, isn't it?
You can take a good few hits without going down. So even if you're going against an electric, or say an Abomasnow, you can let it hit you a couple of times and still give it some real damage. So whatever you come in with next, say your Vigoroth, you can start to batter away really quickly without taking any damage on that. So that was my thoughts behind picking Mandy. Successful or not, but that was my thought process in it.
Yeah, and the nice thing, as you say about the bulk, like the ghost that's going to give it trouble is Frostlass. But I would wager that you're not dying to an avalanche. I would suggest with that bulk behind it, and you can snarl.
I think you can take 2 avalanches.
Ice Beam does
that's a bold claim.
What was that, Carl?
Is it?
I think Ice Beam from an Azu does less than half, doesn't it? So Mandibuzz.
Fair. That's. I mean,
not stab, is it?
No, but any super effective hit with like 50, 55 energy, like it's going to be packing a punch in it. So it's, I reckon you live in it. I reckon you live in an avalanche comfortably. I guess you just don't want to get farmed down by the end. But I don't know that we'll see so many Frostlasses because, again, the ghost typing is there. But in terms of the dark typing, I don't see a huge amount of other options, to be honest, that you're ruling out here, other than Sableye would be the big one that jumps out dark-wise. Would there be any other darks that you think you might miss?
I mean, Zweilous quite high ranked.
Great. Zweilous is quite ranked, but again, I think with so many Vigs running about, is anyone going to really take that risk on a Zweilous when again, you've got other dragons that he could use theoretically. And again, Dragon's one of them types where actually you could take a Dragonair and you've still got that water coverage, which then you could maybe have a Wish Cache or something like that as well if you want to balance your team that way around. So I don't think Zweilous is. I think Sableye is the only one that you're really kind of looking at to be missing out on.
Fair. I think Zweilous could be the start of like an anti-meta team. Like, I feel like if you take Zweilous
and protect it from Vig.
Yeah, that's it. Your whole team changes because of that, isn't it? I think I feel like if you're picking Zweilous, you're probably
that's a toxic team. That.
Yeah. You're going in a different direction to most, I would suggest. But nothing wrong with that. I think that's the beauty of this cup. You can, I'm sure you could make anything work. Any other thoughts on Mandibuzz?
So, how does it get on with Frostlass, for example?
How do you mean? How does it deal?
Does it beat it straight foul play?
I'd have to double check, to be honest, Phil.
I reckon the powder snails and avalanches would be too much, because avalanche would be quicker, wouldn't it? I think
avalanche would be quicker, but I'm sure you can take 2 avalanches. I've got it in my head somewhere. I might be wrong. I've been wrong before, but you're probably right with the powder snows getting you in the end. Just trying to get a quick sim up here now.
Yeah.
Pressure. Yeah, the avalanche comes in first on the first one, but you get to that second foul play, and the second avalanche does you.
Right. But it'd be one of them.
However, it does pick up the twos. It's fascinating, and of course it could flip with energy. So
yeah, that's it. It's one of them. Like, you don't want to switch Frostlass into it, are you?
Yeah, and if you're picking Frostlass as your anti-flyer.
Yeah.
You see, now I ran it with Frostlass tonight, thinking Frostlass would be my anti-flyer. But you lose a Bomber Snow then, which again is probably why you like this cut, Matt, because it is completely wide open. And every time you make a pick, you're losing something. It's not what you gain from that mon, it's what you actually lose from the other mons. I picked Frostlass this evening to go with it, as I figured that would be my anti-flyer for the evening.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. I'm sure someone at some point will pick Frostlass because I think it's fascinating. Well, Frostlass is always a good option, isn't it? But yeah, it depends. If Mandibuzz is going to be prevalent, Frostlass is likely to struggle. But then, just going back to Sableye for a minute, if Sableye becomes popular, that's two really hard. Well, that's two hard Frostlass answers gone. You know, that's the ghost and the dark type taken. So if Sableye does become popular, that could open the door for Frostlass a little bit, potentially. Yeah.
With the Mandy Frostlass, it beats it in 0s and 2s.
0s and 2s, yeah, but loses the 1s, yeah.
I just mean who uses Frostlass without using 2 shields? It's a 2 shield mon, really.
People who bring Frostlass and maybe one of, like, I don't know, maybe Matt's pick for chance, and probably wishes they had, and hopes they had the 2 shields for that mon instead. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Frostlass is one of those ones where, Joe, I think this is going to offer a lot to Ranger this month. It's so easy to go from one to another one. But the way I like using Frostlass is using it with something equally dangerous. So, like in Sorcerer's Cup, I used it a lot with Muck in the back, and I'd use one of them with 0 shields to get the shield advantage, and then I'd use the other to try and run through. And I think
just like Nightfall.
Yeah. Just like
with Blade,
yeah.
We're past Nightfall now. It was a horrible cup. No one liked it. It's horrible.
I really enjoyed it.
You've enjoyed the entire of this season, Phil. So,
well, so far so good.
Yeah, we've had 3 good metas, haven't we? I think. But yeah,
I've had 1 good meta.
One. Okay.
Which one was that one again?
Marsh.
Yeah.
I didn't get gold in a Marsh, but it was my favourite one.
This meta is what you make of it. If you don't enjoy this meta, I'm not sure Silph's for you personally. That's going to be my stance of it to begin with. I'm open to be changed. Yeah, having my mind changed on that. But so what about the flying type, Dan? I know I've picked a flying type, so we'll come on to that a little bit. But are there any flying types that again you might miss out on by Mandibuzz?
I think whenever you talk about flying types, you'd be remiss for not saying Skarmory, which is massive and absolutely walls Mandibuzz all over the show. To be honest, it's not even a fair fight. I'm not overly fond of Skarmory for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's because
it's too meta for you, Dan.
It is a bit. I don't like things that are. It puts me off, to be honest. So, yeah, and I've got a decent Skarmory actually after quite a long time of playing around with different ones and trading and stuff like that. But it's not. Yeah, it's not my personal choice of type of mon. But that is what you lose. I don't think there's any really, even though Matt's going to pick a flyer in a bit, I don't think there's any flyer that, I suppose you could say Tropius, but...
Pelipper?
That's what I was thinking, Carl. Pelipper, yeah.
I always forget about Pelipper, which is a very, very, yeah.
You do sacrifice your water type, though, don't you?
You do. And, yeah.
But if you're going to sacrifice your water type, that's a good one. to sacrifice it for. It is a good,
very good choice. Azure and Swampert are banned, and they're like often the go-to waters, aren't they? So I feel like whatever you're picking, if you're picking a water, perhaps with the exception of Jellicent, and perhaps with the exception of Pelipper, you're probably picking a water type that would otherwise be your second choice, I would have thought. So, yeah, maybe Pelipper would be a good one.
Or a Mantic meta.
I picked Castform tonight, which I thought was a good water type, to be honest, and I was quite happy with it overall. I thought it did the job against the flyers that I wanted it to. And again, you've got that weather ball, which is always nice. So
I think worth noting about Castform as well is that it's a single typing, so you're not giving anything else up either, which is going to be quite valuable here, I feel.
I rate you're going to see at least one triple Castform team. At least one.
Oh, yeah.
Well, one quad?
Jamie's going for, isn't he?
No one's going for. No one's going for.
No one's got the Stardust for that. Right, okay.
Say that. I think Jay's got all 4 built, hasn't he?
I've got all 4 built.
And you've got 4 million in the bank as well, which is just unfair.
One of the big
Go out there and grind it, mate.
That's it. You're one of the biggest grinders I know.
It's got to be done, isn't it?
We weren't talking about Pokemon then. We were talking about other grinding.
That's fine by me.
Other apps are available.
Okay, well, my pick is a flying type that we didn't mention. Perhaps not the first flying type that comes to mind, but certainly the first flying type that comes to my mind, and that is Shadow Zapdos. And an absolute monster of a Pokemon. Pokedex number 145. There we go. I was just so keen to talk about Shadow Zapdos. Just so keen. Yeah. First thing I looked at this cup was what was banned, because I thought that was quite, the really good stuff, which is what's been banned, is often what holds a lot of things back. And I think there was a small period of time where Shadow Zapdos was really, really good in GBL, but sort of after people got the charge TM, but before G-Fisk was out. I think there was a small. I might be wrong. And then G-Fisk came and ruined it all. G-Fisk is banned. Bastiodon is banned. Swampert is banned. Probopass is going to struggle because counter users are everywhere. Ice types are going to struggle because a lot of the good ones are dual water, and as we said, using your water slot is potentially useful, given that Wishcash is the only, Wishcash and Quagga sort of mud boys. A lot of the things that hold Zapdos back are banned. A lot of the bulky stuff that can take a hit or take 2 hits from Shadow Zapdos are banned. So I don't normally do this. I don't normally look into numbers before trying shit, but I have done this time. Drill Peck is a 40 energy move, right? 40 energy, right? So I've picked out 10 of the bulkiest things that we've got left. XL Diggersby, 40 energy move, 34%. So you 3-hit KOing, and what's it hitting you back with? Fire punches and earthquakes. They're moves you can tank. It's a close battle, but if I remember rightly, if you get 2 Thundershot lead, you flip zeros, or if they go straight fire punches, you can take 1s as well. Like earthquake's slightly better DPS, but realistically, people are probably going fire punch. So you've got an electric type that's beating Diggersby. Ish. It's got the potential to power through a Diggersby. I'm not going to go that far. Obstagoon, really bulky mon, same bulk as Meg. I found out tonight. Drill Peck, neutral move, 48% damage to Obstagoon. Wishcash, yeah. By the time you got the Thundershocks in there, Wishcash, we all know how bulky Wishcash is. 45%. You win it. You beat Wishcash in 2 straight away. Even if Wishcash double baits, you beat it in 2s. And it's a big bait to go for anyway with Wishcash. Going for that mud bomb. Politoed, which I know we're going to talk about a bit later. So this is Drill Peck, by the way. This is Drill Peck, not Thunderbolt. 50% to Politoed. Alolan Marowak, which is always popular, as Dan was saying. Drill Peck, 47%. Wigglytuff. People always bring the Wigglytuff. 52%. Tropius, big bulky grass type. 63%. Mandibuzz, we know is bulky. 33%.
And that's just the Drill Peck.
That's just the Drill Peck. Thunderbolt does 72% to Mandibuzz, and regarding Politoed, Thunderbolt does 110% to Politoed. So, yeah. And then two things that might resist the Drill Peck: Registeel. Thunderbolt does 48% too, and you're resisting both of its moves. And Skarmory, Thunderbolt does 95% too.
+1 Thundershock.
Yeah, Zapdos is going to blow some absolute holes through every team possible. And with Drill Peck being so low energy, and with Thundershock gaining energy so fast, it's the sort of thing you can do some fancy switching and weaken a few things down to about 30-40% health. Get all shields down, get a little bit of energy, and then just 3 Drill Pecks, finish off 3 mons, game 1. The problem is going to be switching it in on stuff, or counter swapping it in, because there's not much it can do that too, because as much as it resists counter, it doesn't want to take on Big, because Body Slams. It don't really want to take on Obstagoon, don't really want to take on Politoed because it can't outspam it. But it's the sort of thing where if you lose a matchup narrowly, and you can bring it in and farm something down, even if you have to spend the shield to farm something down, because you might get to 60-70 energy doing that, you're going to absolutely wreak havoc. And what I also think is nice is that it's electric flying. Personally, I think Mandibuzz is probably the best flyer here on face value. But by sacrificing Mandibuzz, you're allowing to use you can use a different dark slot, which is a positive start. By sacrificing the electric type in, you might be missing Stunfisk or Galvantula, which could have play, but I don't think they're outstanding. So just in terms of a piece that might fit in a jigsaw, I think Shadow Zapdos, it could be a nice 6 mon. If you haven't got a flyer, if you haven't got an electric, you've got something that's going to scare the shit out of your opponent. Shadow Zapdos is your man, or bird, I guess. But yeah, sorry, I went on a bit there, but I get excited about Shadow Zapdos.
So right, you're building my team. You've got me my Shadow Zapdos. Who else do I put in there? You
don't need anyone else. I'd have 2 Shadow Zapdoses if I could.
But a lot of the stuff that you just said, and yeah, Drill Peck's really heavy-hitting mood, it actually loses their matchups. It loses Marowak, it loses Wigglytuff, it loses Wishcast, it loses Diggersby. It loses all of these matchups. Yes, it hurts them, but so does a lot of other things. So does Skarmory, so does Mandy. Yeah. And these are the ones you're missing out. So unless you're saying you're going to... It puts you in that problem of what then is the type, what you're going to use it with. So
I honestly think you could use it with anything spammy, pair it with any 2 spammy things that are going to chip away at things. And
big threats. That's your big threats.
Big threats, yeah. Just pair it with Sableye and Vig. Why not? Things that people shield. Lead Vig. Have 2 anti-counter users in the back. But no, it's what you want is what I'd pair it with anyway would be spammy things. So maybe your Weather Ball users, your Body Slam users, to try and get that shield. And even if you don't get the shield, you're generally putting things in range where they can be finished off by a Drill Peck, or if not a Drill Peck, a Thunderbolt. So it's a different type of, because I think the meta's going to be so broad here, playing hard counters is going to be difficult and dangerous. I think you want a lot of generalists that can hit a lot of things. and you might have to win a lot of matchups by sort of aggregate damage. And I think if you go in for a strategy like that, where you pick 3 things that can hurt a lot, hit hard and fast, and be very difficult to resist, I think it's got to be up there. Also, had a look at the PvP rankings in terms of the switches. I think it's ranked 5 as a switch. So I haven't looked into the Sims more than the numbers I listed off, but there must be some play there. I think finding the right lead partner for it would be crucial, because, as I say, there's not a great deal you can switch it in on, because
ranked 20 on the Switch, just to.
Oh, is it?
Sorry.
Oh, it might be the charges I was looking at then, with a little bit of energy. The other one.
I'm waiting for it to load up now to see if I get you wrong on this as well. Ranked 29 on the charges.
Right. Okay.
Oh no, sorry, that's closers. Sorry, that was closers. Let me load it up just so. It's rank 5. It's rank 5 on the charges.
Hey.
Yeah.
Are you looking at the Love Cup there, Dan?
What's that? Fake Rose, you said there, Phil?
Fake Rose, yeah, Fake Rose. That's exactly what it is, yeah.
Yeah. No, by all means, Zapdos is definitely problematic. But it's one of them cups. It's a good excuse to use it, and if you practice with it a fair bit, it's not going to let you down. I think. Cal, you got any thoughts on the Shadow Zapdos?
Yeah, keeping it alive long enough to hit something back is the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't make anything, does it? Even with its resistances, I mean, it doesn't really resist anything, does it? It's so frail. No,
and it's I think the resisted Earthquake from Diggersby does. I think it's like 55% or something like that. So it's not, and Diggersby is a fairly soft hitting mon because of how bulky it is, and so even with a hard hitting stab move like that, that's still more than you might want it to take. I think it takes 50% from Registeel's Flash Cannon resisted. So yeah, it's not taking hits. You can take one body slam from Vigoroth, and that does about 75%. Like
it requires a lot of dancing.
It does.
To keep it going.
It does. But if you've got one, certainly give it a practice, because it might be awful. I haven't done any games with it. It might truly be awful, but it might be awesome. So
there's the other point, though. I know you have one and a good one, but not everyone does. I mean, I looked at mine earlier. Mine's absolute trash. I mean, trash. Like, if it could be traded, I'd trade it. It's that trash.
Yeah.
I purified a 215-15. I know.
Why'd you purify anyone? I mean,
I purified
it's not like you don't have other Zapdoses. Or were you looking for that big return hit? Was that what you wanted from it?
Oh, Cal.
It was such a sick, and it was an accident as well.
You say this. Didn't you do the same thing with your Mawile as well?
Yeah. I thought I was pressing power up. It was.
How many mons have you done that with?
So many.
I purified a rank 1 Mawile about a week before Shadows got good, because I wanted to use a Mawile for something, and that was a cheap way to get a rank 8. So I purified the rank 1 Mawile.
I've burnt so much dust on crap, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I've been double moving at 70 CP all week. It's just painful.
4 cast forms as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it still sits there with 4 million dust. That's GBL dedication.
Gives you the dust, doesn't it?
Yeah. GBL's been awesome for dust, to be fair, but that's
you don't get much when you just go in with 10 CP mons, though, and just keep tapping.
I'm a master of 10 CP mons now, mate. Don't you worry about it.
Just not recording them.
Let's not talk about that.
Did it make you number 4?
No, Savage Boy overtook me, didn't he? Beat me to it.
Well,
number 5 will be good, man.
Yeah,
we're off track. Trudy will get him his flex badge. Trudy will get him his flex badge. Let's talk about Shadows of Zapdos.
Well, I mean, I've sort of said my piece on it. I think the only thing, as I say, I think I think Tropius, Mandibuzz, Galvantula, and Stunfisk are the things you're losing potentially. But again, all good mons. Other than potentially Mandibuzz, I don't think any of them particularly jump out immediately. And Zapdos doesn't jump out immediately either, to be fair. But I guess I just looked at it the other way around. I looked at what isn't there rather than what is. So it might not fit, but it just struck me as a good opportunity to potentially use it. So I'll certainly be using it in a practice cup or two, and then we'll take it from there, I guess. But the problem is with it is that it's so frail. It's not like it's a Venusaur or a Frostlass that can take a hit. It can't take a hit. And the problem because of that is you need the rest of, I would suggest at least 4 of your 5 other mons have to be really bulky. So you're giving yourself as many options as possible to use with it. And that's put quite a strain on team building. So yeah, it wouldn't be the first thing I'd build a team around, but just one of them where if I got a team of 5 where I was confident, I liked all 5, they all did they worked well together and they did the job well enough, and I really wasn't sure what I'd want for my 6th. Just ping Shadows Zapdos on there. It's just one of them, innit? But
just brings you joy.
It does. It brings me joy.
So, sorry, it has to be a Thundershock one. Just because we haven't said it, and I know we mentioned it earlier about the Elite TM, but there'll be somebody watching this and they'll go, Matt said this is a good idea, and he'll go out there with his Charge Beam Zapdos and be like, why is it not charging up? I'm tapping, it's got to be like this. It's lag.
Well, I mean, let's be fair. I'm not even sure Thundershock Zapdos is a great idea by any means, but I did a Great League, Open Great League tournament once ages ago, and it was when the Elite TMs were announced, and I got dead excited about Zapdos. So I have used a Charge Beam Zapdos before, and I used it in Jungle Cup actually a long time ago. And Charge Beam Zapdos is really, really bad. Like there's very little that I can salvage from it, apart from the fact that Jungle Cup everything just lined up nicely for it to be passable. I think if we did Jungle Cup again now, it would be banned. It'd be that good. But yeah, Charge Beam. The difference between barely passable and instantly banned is a huge difference, isn't it? So yeah, don't be using Charge Beam. Have a look at Emolga if you think the typing fits your team better, and if you're thinking about using it as like a core pick, have a look at Emolga. But I would suggest there's probably better shouts out there than that, to be honest, as a sort of core pick. It's just one of those, it's, like the Frostlass Muck thing. It's one of those ones, knowing that it can't take a hit, but you're going to get shields out of your opponent. You could use it as something to get a shield advantage with, because it takes a brave person to not shield a Shadow Zapdos hit. Yeah, it could be a strategic thing, and then you've got a lot of health left to farm with something, but.
Because of the openness, there's going to be pairs that you can't quite beat with one mon.
Mm.
So having a strategy of taking some sort of shield or switch, you need something with like a sledgehammer. Yeah.
And again, because of the restrictions, you're not always going to be covered. You're not always going to be able to cover everything like properly. So I think having quite a lot of those Pokemon like Frostlass, like Alolan Muck, that can hurt a lot of things sort of hard and fast. Having more than one, maybe 2 or 3, is going to maximise your chances of falling apart across the team where one of them is just going to tear through them. So I'm quite keen on having 2 or 3, and as I say, I don't think you could do that with Zapdos because it's just so fragile. So I think that's a slight concern for sure. Yeah. Cal, why don't you tell us about your pick?
All right, so it's Pokedex number 186.
Yay!
Oh Politoed. Well, what's the crack?
Yeah, it has a 76% win rate in the ones. With a 1 mud shot advantage, it goes up to 80%, which I think in quite an open meta is, it's quite decent numbers. That it beats everything you expect it to beat. In the Sims, it shows it loses to Skarmory, but that's only if Skarmory lands a Brave Bird. Loses to Mandibuzz, but just about. Mandibuzz has 5 HP left, I think. Shows it loses to Toxie, but one mud shot can flip that as well, I think. Beats Diggersby, Vigoroth, Drifloon, a lot of Ninetales, so there's some decent wins out there. And it runs Sableye fairly close, and if it's a non-return Sableye, it wins. So.
Oh wow! So you got to be landing a return at some point then. That's
that's non-return. I think it just sheerly outspams everything. So.
Yeah. I know you're running. Are you running Earthquake or Blizzard, and why?
I've been using it in GBL with Blizzard, but I'll probably switch to Earthquake for this, I think.
Not tempted to run both.
Both, no. I think I need the spam.
Where the ball spam.
All day.
Yeah. See, I think this is a nice cup to really get the measure of Politoed, because when I saw it got weather ball, I thought no one's going to use that. It's just never going to be quite as good as Swampert, and Swampert's banned here, so I think we will see a lot of Politoed. So I think it's I don't know. I don't know whether I'd use it. I think with the limitation, I think I want most of my ones to be dual type, but that in itself is an advantage, that it's monotype. You're not taking anything else off the board. Yeah. But I think we'll find out a lot about whether Politoed is going to be good going forward from this. So I'm really quite interested in Politoed. Phil?
I actually think the normal type's better than the Shadow as well, even though the Shadow's ranked a bit higher.
I think I agree. Yeah, it's so bulky. You don't want to compromise that, do you? What do you reckon, Phil?
I think we should have a video about 40 minutes long on your opinion of shadows, any types of shadows. No, I agree. I know. I agree. I think the non-shadow for the extra bulk. I hate that frog. It is the bane of my GBL existence. It's the reason I'm not currently legend. Not my battling ability. It's Politoed's fault.
No, certainly not.
I was going to say, when you said about it not choosing Swampert over it, I've seen a lot more Politoed in GBL recently. Now, I don't know if it's because if it's new and people want to play with the new toy.
It's a new toy.
It does seem good. It seems really good, that weather ball, and it beats Swampert, which,
It beats Swampert, that's why I hate it, yeah.
It's fantastic.
And obviously, both me and Phil run Swampert.
That's
Wave. Yeah. It's a lucky line.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic lead because of the spam and it being a good move as well. It's not like it's poison fang spam. It's it's weather ball, isn't it? It's a fantastic lead. And this meta doesn't look particularly grassy to me. I don't know what you guys think.
I this evening I figured everybody's going to bring water. To be honest, I found Meg absolutely useless.
It's because I said I hated Meg at Voyager. Let's be honest, I hated Meganium at Voyager. That's what it was.
It's not actually. It's because I very stupidly spent an Elite TM on one like a couple of weeks ago before they announced that any idiot can get one. Not calling people idiots, calling myself an idiot really more for spending an Elite TM on. But I was like, I've got a rank 4
event.
Yeah, rank 4 one. Get an Elite TM on it. Yeah. And that kind of backfired on me massively. So I've been looking for excuses to use it after using it. But there will be. Water is going to be a popular type in this because there are so many good ones out there. Politoed being a very, very good example. I think running it with Blizzard, though, I would be tempted with Blizzard over Earthquake. I know you were saying. the counter, but I think Blizzard hits so many things quite well, as Earthquake either KOs something or it doesn't really do anything. So that would be, again, my answer to it, because every team will have a flyer.
Yeah, and I think the key reason to run Earthquake in GBL is Azu, isn't it, really? But certainly here, I think other than Politoed, the other sort of, there's the water ices, but the other water types here are sort of, they're not actually resisting water. You've got Wishcash, which doesn't resist water. So you got Pelipper, but that doesn't resist Blizzard. Yeah.
Castform resists water.
Spot on. There we go. Yeah.
You're not beating Castform either way, I don't think, are you?
No, you're not. You're not.
Seems almost.
It's weird. It's weird. Some of the furries prefer Earthquake. Some of the furries prefer Blizzard. You need Earthquake for like Lantern, if that's going to be meta. What else? You need it for Gardevoir, Dugong. Because Dugong's resisting both. Dugong's going to be a big one.
It always raises its ugly head as Dugong, doesn't it? It's,
Mandy needs the Blizzard.
Yeah.
Ninetales, another Weather Ball user, needs the Earthquake.
Really?
Obstagoon needs the Earthquake. So you can't go straight Weather Ball against Ninetales, apparently.
Ninetales is going to be big.
Straight Weather Ball.
What? Sorry, was that Mandibuzz? You can go straight Weather Ball.
Yeah, you lose, but you leave the Mandibuzz with 5 HP. So
okay,
it's
fair.
But Blizzard wins it.
Yeah. Wins it if you land it. If it goes shielded,
if you land it,
it makes that loss a lot harder. So,
and of course, Tropius. So pretty much anything that flies, you need Blizzard, and anything that doesn't, you need Earthquake.
Which is
it's how your team fits, how it fits your team.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, isn't it? Yeah, as I said, I think we'll see a lot of them, and I'm quite excited to see how it does. Whether we'll see like proper Weather Ball spam all over, I don't know, but I feel that we could. You know, it's certainly what people are using in GBL a lot now, isn't it? And there's no reason not to use it, really. I don't think, unless the only reason I could see not to use Weather Ball spam here would be that the restrictions mean that the rest of your team is so hamstrung that you can't make a team that feels fairly balanced. But the Weather Ball users are probably the best way to go for hard RPS here. Not that they can't be used for other stuff as well, but because there's so much you need to cover, being able to fire the charge moves off first is going to be even more important, I feel. So certainly it's certainly got that in its favour over other things. The other waters, obviously Pelipper's got a fast water move damage, but something like Wishcash doesn't actually do water damage. Something like Lapras, it's got Surf, but the Ice Shards might not be doing the damage you need. It's a lot of the other waters perhaps don't have that same appeal. Castform does, of course. Wouldn't want to leave Castform out, but yeah, it's certainly got that going for it. Any final thoughts?
Smug-looking mon. It's a smug-looking mon, especially this shiny. The shiny is so smug. The silly swill it's got on its belly and everything like that. Hate all polys. Toad, Wraths, the lot.
You're a big fan of Poliwrath.
No. Go in the bin. Get in the bin.
I'm a huge fan of Poliwrath. I saw. I haven't watched it yet, but I saw the thumbnail from PvP Steve's Meta Simplified video, and as I say, I haven't watched it yet. But I saw the Pokemon sat there, and I thought Poliwrath beats a lot of these things really, really well. So yeah, the polys might have some play for sure. Any final thoughts on Politoed, or should we wrap it up there?
We hate that one.
Yeah, definitely hate that one.
We hate that
We
one.
hate that frog.
It's the best one out there.
I'd choose it over Wrath though. If given the choice, I'd definitely, especially in this meta, I would 100% choose it over Poliwrath. I've not seen Steve's video. Not saying it's not good or not right, but for me personally, I would choose Toad over Wrath every day.
Yeah, fair. And they behave very differently, don't they? Wrath's got no water damage either, unless you run Bubble. But then you're losing the reason to run Wrath, really, I guess. But yeah, I think very very different monsters to compare. Right, well let's leave it there then. I'm sure we'll see a lot of Sableye. I'm sure we'll see a lot of Mandibuzz. I'm sure we'll see a lot of Politoed. I hope we see a lot of Zapdos. It would make me very happy. But
yes, so do I.
You think it's that bad?
It's too frail.
Too frail. So yeah, it has no resistances. But makes the fast games, which are always fun. So,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Right, nice one, guys. Catch you all later, and thank you very much.
Thanks for having us, Matt.
Ciao.